back, everyone. I hope you all are ready for blood, because our next two teams, they're ready to draw some as we're finding ourselves in our elimination match in the NA region of the day. There's one more, of course, on the line as well, but that one has to wait until tomorrow. For now, we're here to bring you all the action in the lower bracket. We're seeing the upper bracket right now on our screens. Toronto Defiant and Energy Shock are breezing through the top. And now, of course, 4 teams are fighting for their lives to stay in the main event. Timeless and Citrus Nightmare will be going at it tomorrow. But for now, we're shifting gears and focusing on Nightmare and Fluffy Dreamland. Nightmare, we just got to watch today. And now, of course, they did go up against Toronto Defiant. And that means there's only really so much you can take away from this match. Because if you're going up against a juggernaut like Toronto, you're obviously going to try out new things, throw stuff at a wall, see if it sticks. It looked a little more cheesy. Do you think we see a more conventional approach here, Jake?
Yeah, I mean, I think Nightmare is a really strong team. If anything, maybe they overthought that Toronto match and kind of showed up with these wild and wacky cheeses. When they looked their best against Toronto, it was playing a relatively straightforward mirror match, you know, having confidence in their players. And I feel Xerath and Seeker stepped up to the plate. They look solid in that final map and competitive on hero mirrors against Toronto Defiant, who has been undeniably the most dominant team in the region. So I think this is a chance for Nightmare to really show what they can do up against Fluffy Dreamland.
Yeah, and as Nightmare just dropped down into the lower bracket, Fluffy Dreamland has been down there since yesterday already, as they fell in their opening match against Timeless. What have we learned from that match, and also, of course, from their first lower bracket match against Timeless Ethereal?
Well, the thing that I've been harping on all the time is just like the versatility of this roster. We just saw them play Brawl, for example, and that's something they're comfortable doing. If we're going to Circuit Real, you know, Astro's going to bring out the Sigma, for example, and we can play some of these Ramatro compositions. But you know, there's also a lot of this dive going on in the region. You know, there's been a lot of Winston. And yesterday, after the broadcast, I went into the lab, I went to the VOD dungeon, I loaded up the replay viewer, and I just pondered a little bit, like, you know, what really happened on that Dorado? Because I watched the Dorado, and something just felt a little bit off. Now, I could give actual insightful analysis.
Or
like, I could, for example, say that Astro, when you're playing the Winston, I think sometimes you find yourself without your shield off cooldown, and you get punished because you're in vulnerable positions. Sometimes that means you go in without the bubble, you get slept, you get bionated. If you just wait a couple seconds, you could get your bubble back quicker. So a little bit more patience on the Winston play.
That was
I could say that.
Yeah, you could have said that.
But instead, I'd like to premiere a film that I call The Gang Tries to Go for an Ana Flank. And so I'm going to just showcase here how they actually lost on Dorado. And it starts off with them on defense, of course. And we find ourselves in a bit of a precarious position here if we're Prota. Of course, we're defending, like I said, 330 to hold point B. It's doable. It's point B on Dorado. You have high ground advantage. But we're going for a bit of an off angle here on the Ana. We're not playing the high ground. Instead, we're going for a bit of a flank, so we can just go ahead and just play this out as we try to go for this Bionade. And we'll notice that something goes wrong in that we actually throw this nade out and we miss it. This means that when Astro blind jumps across the bridge, we find ourselves here with a big gold question mark. I've got the flames, the freaking flames again. We're kind of wondering, what are we diving? What are we diving? So Astro blind jumps to this position. No one's biotic grenaded. There is no one around this bubble, and instead Halo just looks over here like, what was that? Like he just heard a sound, like they just sounded the bio grenade crashing. So we can go ahead and play this out. While this is happening, X10 is just going to be on the payload, just like, okay, fine, I guess I'll just push the cart. No one's really around. We're just completing the objective. Oh, here's Astro coming back. And also, pause. Grapes is like, oh my god, we're going to lose the map. I have to shield bash towards the objective and contest. And meanwhile, Haven on the Ash is just like, okay, my Brig just left me and I'm on long range hit scan. We'll see how this goes.
Yes, I'll die.
Now, we'll go ahead and play this one out. And as Prota finds himself in this position, it's like, oh my god, is a Winston in the bank, and I'm trying to rotate to high ground. And now envision loud Ana screams in the comms, like, oh, I'm being primaled, I'm being primaled. And it just so happens that Haven hears this and goes, oh my god, I have to help my Ana, jumps down, chases to Winston, but goes down here to a pretty unsuspecting, innocent Halo that's just like, okay, wow, I'll chase this down. Wait, there's an Ashe? Okay, I just flail down this Ashe. And all the while, here comes the Brig. Oh, my Ana. No, wait, we're all dead. And we go back to the cart, and they go ahead and just complete the objective after this. So this is my film that I call The Gang Tries to Go for an Ana Flank. And in my opinion, it is absolute cinema. So there you go. If you were wondering how they lost Dorado, I present to you the reason. They're a really good team, though, so I'm looking forward to it.
Okay. What exactly is my takeaway here? I'm not entirely sure what to draw from
Don't go
this.
for those flanks again.
Don't
That's my
wait,
takeaway.
Johnny.
Don't even go to Dorado.
We just watched a clip of ENCE in EU doing like the same thing, but the moral of the story is hit the nade. I mean, it can happen.
Maybe not on Dorado.
No, they have no ultis. They're playing up against a fast dive. I think there's actually a good play if the Winston dive and the Ana nade actually hit the Brig. They start killing the Brig. They probably snowball the team fight.
The
Okay, what I'm hearing here is just get good.
I mean, it's unfortunate they missed, but I think the play is fine.
Virtus Pro had no positioning retaking, and meanwhile, they had all of it.
I mean, it's just unfortunate. You should never miss the
Prets
nade,
have
right?
nothing to do with this particular Dorado situation, but it looks like we are going in favor of Nightmare, which quite frankly, at least on the New Junk City, made it very competitive against the biggest top dog we have here in the NA region. So hopefully they're going to make it look easy against a FluffyDreamland, which I'm sure have something in store for this one as well. So let's see who is going to stay in the tournament and who we have to say goodbye to after this very match. For all the action, we're going to hand over to Necra and Jack. How did you like that illustration?
I thought it was great. I thought it was good film, Johnny. I thought it was really good. IMDb giving it a 7 out of 10, not too bad. Rotten Tomatoes, I heard there was a 93.
Wow.
A 93.
Ooh, the tomato meter.
It's
Going
Pretty on Reddit, man.
See one Reddit. Yeah, I can't wait to discuss this in r/movies. It's going to be a good time. Anyway, let's get to this game. Nightmare versus FluffyDreamland Rose. Yeah, it's worth bringing up. So he kind of illustrated the point perfectly. They had a very competitive game, like that being Nightmares against Toronto Defiant. A little bit earlier on, that last map could have gone their way. They could have got their one map against the top dogs. We'll see if they can kind of overrun FluffyDreamland here, who down in the lower bracket right now. It's a very treacherous place to be. Loser here is eliminated from main event stage 3.
So you definitely don't want to be going home just quite yet, because there's still some money up for grabs as well as those juicy circuit points. But for both of these teams, they haven't played each other quite yet in the stage 3, although you might be confused if you're thinking also of Citrus Nightmare, which is, I believe, like a sister team to Nightmare. Or, I don't know. There's a lot of nightmares.
There's a lot of nightmares, there's a lot of Citrus,
don't
and there's a lot of Timeless, and there's it just doesn't get confusing at all.
Yep.
Doesn't get confusing.
No, surely not.
Surely, Clueless. All right, let's have a look. Gonna go to, okay, Astro running the Orisa. We've seen a lot of this, actually. We saw a little bit in the EU yesterday, but Orisa really coming up in these close range matches. Close range maps, sorry. Exactly like we're seeing here as we jump over to Command Center.
Yeah. Astro has enjoyed playing this pick quite a bit, actually. Even just taking a look at Lijiang for the first couple of their matches. Orisa just a really great counter in some cases to the Mauga, especially if you're not feeling super confident being able to run something like the Sigma or the Ram. You still have a very powerful Brawl tank at the front line, especially with the Fortify.
Good little boot there on Shine. Caught out, got boot back in, infected with a cleanup. So Nightmare.
These are flipped, by the way.
Oh yeah.
On our screen.
FluffyDreamland, Nightmare. We'll get that flipped over. The team names, it is Nightmare that end up capping first. And forwards. This is a really good spot for FluffyDreamland to be in as well. Normally you kind of favor the Mei there in these choke points, but getting past all these rockets as well thrown in by Zera is going to be tough. So it looks like they're going to go server side instead.
Not a bad way to approach this either, especially knowing that you do have the Mei. If you see somebody overextending from Nightmare, then you can section them off and just keep them caught out guard. So looking at Infected, maybe even Seeker to potentially make one of those positional mistakes. But you are going to take the server now if you are FluffyDreamland, and Haven finds it.
Yeah, a little chunk there from Chime with a right click, and then a finish-off shot from Haven. Oh, what a snipe. Sneaker half peeking that corner to see if he can get some damage in. Chime with a swift headshot. And then Infected goes down as well. All right, there you go. Nightmare with the losing control of the point. It'll be a FluffyDreamland capping some more.
Very back and forth so far, and now that FluffyDreamland actually have ultimates coming up too, I think this could even extend how much progress they're able to grab. You've got this Terror Surge, maybe not necessarily one of the more impactful ultimates we've seen as of late, but pair that with something like the Bob, just to make sure that you can grab that position, or even the Blizzard on top.
Oh, good spear onto Seeker, cancels the high noon. That Blizzard's proving quite treacherous, and that will be a boop from Grapes. Seeker off of the map. And now this is the perfect spot for FluffyDreamland to be in. They can hold close. Haven can easily use Bob from the sidelines. Got to be careful with Zero, who might sniff them out. Does Haven know? Does now. There's the Bob in the choke point. CJ already dead. And holding the doorway a little bit more with the Terror Surge too. FluffyDreamland in such a good spot, Rose.
Yeah, Arisa's just so hard to take down. If you have that Fortify online, there's not really enough of that damage, the critical damage that you would need to really take out this Orisa. Even the splash damage coming through from the Pharah, not quite nearly enough to take down this very chunky horse here.
Oh, Terror Surge in, grabs three, forces the sound back from Admiral. Astral requires the lamp there, so it's not actually available to save the backline as Zera finds a flanking barrage double. It's now Nightmare just rolling onto the point. No sound barrier from Grapes either. FluffyDreamland still one fight territory for them.
So that's where the sound barrier could be really impactful. You have the barrier advantage because Grapes held onto it, and you even get to go in with your own amplification matrix. And it's going to be another server side push here from FluffyDreamland. Worked out for them great before, but the one issue with going this direction is knowing that you're going to be walking into the perfect area for a cage from this Malga. Infected probably so ready.
Chime is on their own right now. To the rescue, FluffyDreamland charge on in. There's the cage, there's the beats. Unfortunately, didn't catch Chime, who was in the cage at the time. So GPS is trading, but I mean, the Orisa, pretty tough target to take down, so Infected thinks better of targeting her. So Haven and Prota are going to be next on the menu for Nightmare. Pretty scrappy fight as Seeker rejoins and looks around. Dead bodies, okay, sounds good. And they just move their way to the point. And now Nightmare in one fight situation.
This is a really tricky positioning to try to wrap around and switch sides with each other, but it is going to be FluffyDreamland having to come back with this Kiriko and Tracer just to get back to the point in time. They've got nothing for this, though. Just the touch from the Tracer to trigger the overtime. No ultimates.
Yeah, Infected's going to be the one holding down the fort for now. Space been really early usage there by Astro. Just continuing to touch right now. They got Haven to do so. Nice headshot there by Seeker. A couple of those orbs thrown in from Grapes, but double DPS dead for FluffyDreamland. Seeker's been looking like he's distracting them the whole time. And the disco ball thrown out from CJ to save the backline, and that will be it. Nightmare with a impressive round, 100 to 87. FluffyDreamland are so close to the ults. I mean, both the Mei and the Orisa, they just need a couple more percentage points. It could have been a very different story.
That really could have been. Both of those paired together, too. I think Chime did a really great job on the Mei of performing with what we expect to see from that. The walls to section things off. I loved the wall play, and then you saw the Blizzard follow pretty immediately after that. So I think Chime in a good position to bring that out further on in the series. But as we switch over to market, it is a bit more open space. You have better sight lines for the Pharah, so we are going to see Chime actually think about switching to that pick as the gates open up. Astra's going to stick to this Orisa as Infected actually goes over to the Winston. Winston feels like a really good counter to something like the Pharah.
No, they're backing up.
Wait, they instantly see that and they go, we can't play that.
Pharah, Infected, staying on Winston, going Ana. Yeah, real quick swaps. Before the point unlocks too. Heads up play, heads up decision making there from Nightmare.
They definitely have the playbook, and they see, okay, well, we can counter that Orisa with the Tracer and the Ashe. So it would be cool to see that duel happen. Seeker, with this Ashe as well, maybe a better answer to something like this Chime Pharah, but it's going to be the cap over to FluffyDreamland first as Nightmare look for a rotation.
CJ narrowly avoiding damage there from Chime, who did capture the point. They know the Ana's on the high ground. Yes, sees CJ. So let's be a little bit careful. Getting peppered by Zera. Really nicely placed rocket there. So as soon as the Mega Pack was taken, Zera took a lot of damage and had to back up. Same with Infected, in fact. Okay. That is a Pharah voice line. That is a Pharah voice line. Okay.
Oh, I have not heard that one before.
She ain't got that dog in her. She got that wolf in her. Haven with a good kill.
There is
Nano boost.
Tools. One of them might have barrage.
Into the back line. Got to run if you're Proto right now. I'm not sure Grapes can do any more peeling. Good double kill for Infected potentially as he sees Chime skirting away, but still FluffyDreamland with the Orisa are still holding down this point. It's going to be tough for Winston in this duel. Absolutely no way Infected stays alive. Oh my, okay. I take it back, Infected. Sorry. I was not familiar with your game. Pops the Primal too. Caps the point and is going for a little bit more. Oh, doesn't quite get the boop out of the corridor, but it was worth the effort.
I don't think it was necessarily a bad idea to pop the Primal there either. At first glance, it does look a little bit stupid, but you were so low on HP. It's a great way to just make sure you're full, and Seeker was right there in your sight lines. Fortunately, though, CJ gets caught out. Maybe it would have liked to have the Primal Rage.
Would have loved to have the Primal Rage to try and tank some of that barrage as well, yeah. Wow, CJ going down so early just from cross-map spam. That's not exactly that's not exactly the way you want to start a fight.
Nope. So FluffyDreamland now getting back control or looking at a final fight. Then they can make that possible with the 3 ultimates that they have. Make that forward. Grapes is so close to being able to get that sound barrier as well. And Sarah's going to have a big pulse bomb here.
Sound barrier for Admiral. Ooh, tanks of dynamite, sadly. Infected is going to go pretty low now. And yeah, Admiral not in a position where he can actually use the sound barrier and connect with Infected as Haven gets nanoed as the dive sailed towards them. One more fight here for Nightmare. We'll see if they can actually touch the point because they're just going to go in. Oh, sound barrier. Bob thrown in on top. Terror Surge hits the Bob. Hits Seeker as well, who's on the high ground in a decent position. Overtime is in session with Seeker in a 1v1 versus the Orisa. Infected to the rescue, but there's no flip. His Chime on the point. Zera does chase them out, and by some sort of miracle, Nightmare stay alive on this point.
It's a really big deal too, because look at how many ultimates they got out from FluffyDreamland. That was everything. They took such an aggressive positioning, knowing that they had the ultimate advantage, and they used all of them to no avail. It's going to be Nightmare now that get a chance to take control of this point. No hero swaps just yet, as FluffyDreamland are trying to run it back, bringing them from so far, but they're going to have to win out these fights in the neutral versus CJ's Nano. Put that onto someone like Infected, maybe we can get to see like a Hyper Ashe.
It can work.
This is looking good for Nightmare now.
Yep, 60% for Nightmare. They got the nano boost for an engage. Chime waiting to get healed. And waiting now a little bit longer for this pause. We're back in the game though. All good. Astro.
Oh, Astro has to come back on the wrecking ball.
Astro ball instead. Okay. I wanted to swap anyway. It's all good.
Fortunate. Yeah, super unfortunate there. You have to come back on the wrecking ball, I think, but it'll just have to play really slow. Really hoping now that your Haven and Chime can come up big with big pick.
Proto was just alone, like completely alone there. FluffyDreamland do have control of the point, but it's an easy recontest from Nightmare. Proto is dead. CJ is to follow. Nano boost deployed onto Zera. Easy pickings for the Nano Tracer. That'll be the flip for Nightmare. Primal Rage and the Nano Boost used. And now just batting away this ball. Playing a little bit of tennis.
Or Foursquare.
Foursquare.
Tetherball.
Tetherball.
Wow, that's a throwback. Seeker though onto the Sombra just to make sure that he can get back for this final fight of this map.
Nanobu's on the far is going to be good.
Force them all back.
Barrage available from Chime as well, Rose. And they know the Ireland's split up. CJ's not near the team, but Seeker comes out with the kill onto Prota again. Just going down first in these engagements. The barrage does hit the point, but Zera easily dealing with the fire, stationary in the skies. Astro's Wrecking Ball is doing a lot of work though with a double kill. However, Nightmare is still on the points. CJ's going to come back in just a moment. Desperately needs to heal the front line though, as Zera ends up going down with the recall and the pulse bomb in hand. Astro comes up. That's the third kill for the Wrecking Ball in the fight. And Infected now has to play safe.
Infected's gonna have to go back just for a little bit of healing. Gets knocked out, but still manages to come back in for the overtime as Admiral delivers a sound barrier.
Beat there. CJ switching over to the Kiriko. The mine's on the point. This might be FluffyDreamland's one. It is. Despite the disconnection and the swap, Astro gets it done on the ball.
Score.
And also gets a minefield for all of the work that ended up getting put into that final fight too. That is incredible. Okay, maybe it's not an Orisa angle. Maybe it's a ball angle.
Yeah. The ball angle right now. I think that's why Seeker as well. Hey, jump over to the Sombra, maybe disrupt him a little bit. All right.
Maybe not a bad
We'll
idea.
stick on the ball.
I'm here for the recency bias, honestly. We haven't seen a whole lot of Wrecking Ball coming out from Astro. It's really just been like the Orisa, Winston, and Ramatra. But I'm here for it. That was pretty spectacular. And in fact, we're actually not going to have just one ball. It's two. There's Infected also on the Wrecking Ball.
Okay. Don't mind a little bit of Wrecking Ball every now and then. All right, Amateur trying to boot Astro away right now. Best thing you can do, although the Kirikos are pretty mobile. And with the buff to the kunais, you're feeling pretty nice. Oh dear. That Chime with thrusters. Yeah, Seeker with a nice recall there. Back onto the bridge.
Astro has to get chased out of there too. And that's going to be first point capture there over to Nightmare as Prota has to get out with the swift step. A lot of damage coming in from Infected, so that's going to be 50% progress towards the minefield. And you are also looking at maybe just getting a knockback here. It's going to be so dangerous for FluffyDreamland to approach from this bridge. You're worried
Astro!
a lot about the concussive blast. Astro just
What happened? What
falls.
happened? Maybe power driving?
No PGE moment,
Wrong?
please.
Oh dear. That's not good.
So the death box for the floor and the drink around the point is also like quite low, like quite high.
Yeah, if you're Wrecking Ball, you could
sometimes
maybe
just
save
swing off.
yourself with the grapple, but oh dear. That sucks for Astro, it has to reset. It's gonna give Nightmare a lot more time to build these ults by poking. See what Astro wants to set up with now. Okay, just
Full spot from Seeker.
yeah, 99% on it, 10% towards those mines as well. Astro looking straight directly at Zera. Trying to deal with that Farah. Zera receives a Suzu quickly from CJ, and now Seeker with a good stick onto the ball. Astro's 1 HP. Has to scurry away to the rest of their team. And Heaven goes down to a headshot. So once again, Astro just not really having the same impact as Infected right now. This is all Nightmare's round.
Nightmare have a very firm handle of things at the moment. Still no minefield deployed from Infected. Can go into the next fight with that. The sound barrier as well from Admiral, not too far behind. But I'm looking at the fact that Chime has actually felt like the impact isn't enough. Going over to the Echo for this next engage.
All right, rush on the point, guarantees a capture for FluffyDreamland. They still got sound barrier and the pulse bomb as Chime just pokes away everybody carrying in this building. Beats come through for both sides. 10 players on the server with that over health now as Haven just tries to chunk someone down to land a stick, but no, denied. Again, recall available, but just got caught out by CJ. Both Kirikos picking up kills on the Tracer as the minefield landed on point for Infected. It's going to be good for space. Astro going down 1% towards theirs. Nightmare get the flip again. FluffyDreamland, they got a chance to contest. A lot of fast, speedy characters on their side. I think this dupe from Chime's going to have to be the big play, unless you can get a crazy mind slam onto a Lucio or something from Astro.
But you're also walking into a fair barrage here. Zera's ready to go, and if you're going to take
Wow,
this...
they go early.
Oh, Chime's
Yeah, they go
dead.
super early. See the cross from Chime. Know they can get back to the point pretty quickly, and Zera's going to just plump himself on it. And there's the mines on the field, but it only covers half the point, so I think Infected could just kind of roll through those unhindered by the explosives. There's the slam, clearing the mines off, making it safe for their team. I think it might be it. Not even need the barrage, even got the pulse bomb in hand too. Nightmare with ults to spare. I'm going to be able to claim the round. Oh, try for the pulse. That ain't happening. And there it is, Nightmare. As soon as they kill this pesky Lucio, overtime will eventually tick down. As soon as they kill the pesky Lucio, the time will tick down. He's trying to get back. I don't think he's going to make it. And there it is. Nightmare come up with a 2-0 there. 2-1, sorry, on control. Lijiang, pretty close affair so far, Rose.
It's been looking good. Also, probably very close to one of the most heroic Lucio plays of all time. This stall was crazy. But yeah, it's been very close so far. I think both FluffyDreamland and Nightmare, they have a lot that they want to prove to themselves and also everybody watching. I think FluffyDreamland is one of those teams that I looked at and I was really excited to see them here in the main event. I think this is a lot of players that maybe haven't necessarily had a chance to shine on the North American servers. And I'm excited to see them here. Hopefully they can extend their stay.
I mean, a very close game and a warm-up game as well versus Toronto to find a little bit earlier on. Nightmare looked really good on a new Junk City. We'll see where they want to go next, that being FluffyDreamland, of course. There's a lot of depth in the roster, though, you've got to admit, especially with Nightmare. I think they are the team to contend, especially for that second place. I had them go on all the way in my bracket. Not sure how the audience have been feeling as well, but FluffyDreamland definitely giving them a run for their money. I mean, Astro Wrecking Ball, it looked good. Coming back on that second round.
Good.
Pretty clean.
Yeah, but then it was tough for the Wrecking Ball to find the same type of purchase in that third round when we switched over to Gardens. And a lot of that, I think, also just has to do with how Control is done as a type mode. You had Infected, you had the rest of the team on Nightmare already taking control of the point first. But yeah, like when you look at the highlight reel for Astro here, like you're in a whole minefield actually coming back into the match in that last fight. So I was hopeful. Oh, no, there it is. There it is.
The Tracer looking over the edge.
Oh, did you see that? Oh, got the slam down in the drink. Unfortunate.
Happens to the best Wrecking Ball players. Good sticks too. We saw that a lot actually with Tracers, and getting the stick on the Wrecking Ball doesn't kill the Wrecking Ball 9 times out of 10, but it sends them low enough to where you can follow that up with a kill on the ball, or at least like chase them away, and then they're out of the fight for a good like 10-15 seconds. Yeah, I mean, where do you think FluffyDreamland are going to go? We've got obviously the whole map selection is open apart from Control, and if they do want to play Wrecking Ball, I mean, you can even play on. We've seen Dive on circuit, like we can go anywhere here, but Dorado speaks to me.
That's true. I was almost thinking maybe if you want to go for more of the Orisa, then maybe you actually do pick Circuit Royale. I think you are thinking about ways to limit how much dive that Nightmare can actually play, but Infected's so versatile in the tank role, I don't know if you can consider there to be that big of a strategy, I think, between what you actually pick. Look how close this was, though.
Kenny's not that close, but yeah, damage and healing especially, damn, only 200 in it. It was a very close affair. A 2-1 as well. So we jump into the third map. If you don't want to play the Orisa, you can also, if you want to play that kind of rush style too, you could go to New Junk City, you can go to any kind of map that's pretty enclosed.
It's true.
No substitutions, I'd imagine, from either side. As we jump.
What about Shambali Monastery?
That actually wouldn't be a bad one. Yeah, I mean, you're expecting then Infected to run the Ram, but you can definitely run Orisa into that. It's a lot tougher as the Orisa, even with that very small buff to the Energy Javelin. But there is the map pool for you.
I'm thinking I like Shambali Monastery more and more, but I also feel like we've seen a lot of teams just throw that type of strategy out the window, maybe play something that is a little bit more uncomfortable for both teams. Like, what do you actually have experience scrimming on? Do you try to mess things up that way? We don't always have all the insider knowledge on the scrim bucks, so I don't know where those stocks are.
Yeah, losers bracket as well here, down in lowers, and look, you got one more chance. Nightmare have got to fight all their way through to maybe get some revenge on Toronto Defiant. FluffyDreamland, of course, wanted to make it as far as possible as well. Stockholm is just around the corner. Don't forget to pick up your tickets as well, by the way. It's going to be New Junk City, picked by FluffyDreamland.
See, you were right. They want to opt for maybe a bit more of the brawl. They have the brawl style with the Orisa that they've shown us already that they are very more than capable of running. And every time we've also seen them go to Lijiang City, I've also seen some bit of Ramattra played from Astro. A little bit more Mei Orisa, though, I think works out really well on a map like this.
Let's have a look. Oh, there is a substitution, sorry. Clear coming in. Okay. For Nightmare. We saw this.
We saw Nightmare do this before. Yep, in their match previously today, we saw Clear come in for the Flashpoint, coming in to play the Mauga, and it looked really good too. So I think this is definitely a style that Nightmare are very, very happy to run. And so this is where I would like to see FluffyDreamland be able to take the map. If they're going to take a map off of Nightmare, I think it has to be here. Otherwise, I think they're just going to pound for pound get outpaced in terms of who's going to be on what hero and comp.
Mauga versus the Orisa. Just kind of the El Clasico now with the Chime on the Mei as well. This Farah from Sarah. I mean, this is really the target you have to attempt to focus. Haven's doing a good job. Not crazy skybox or anything for Sarah, much more likely to play at ground Farah. Or still the dome provides a lot of cover for the Farah. You can kind of slide off it too if you really want to. A couple of nice little directs there as the wall's used pretty early, in fact. Oh, man. Chime with the right click, and I think Ash hit them as well. So Haven and Chime doubling up for that kill onto the Farah.
Well, that is the Farah out of the picture, and that is an absolute go signal here for FluffyDreamland to try to jump on this one. See the overrun used immediately. All the immortality field is down now, too.
Good slam onto Proto. Yeah. Easy cleanup there for FluffyDreamland. I'm going to worry about that splash damage. You don't have to worry about like grouping up close either. You are chilling.
Concussive Blast not going to tear you apart from the rest of your team either. And that is going to be a switch from Nightmare. We are not going to see the Mauga anymore. It's going to be this Genji and Zarya that's going to be here for Clear. We've seen a little bit of Zarya played from Toronto Defiant. Maybe they're just taking a page out of their book. Just beam down the Orisa.
Yeah, I mean, we saw Sugar Free on the Genji as well, right? I mean, it's the exact same comp that
beat him, join him.
We saw a little bit earlier on that they played against. Bob available for Haven. Stepped super far up to that window, but now in a good spot. Headshot through the window as well. Is going to send Clear extraordinarily low. Dynamite through the window. That'll clean up the rest of the team. That'll be FluffyDreamland. They're going to get this first point.
All right, first point capture already over to FluffyDreamland. It's going to send Nightmare back to the drawing board to figure out how they're going to actually deal with this Orisa composition. Maybe giving it a little bit more time. They do have some ultimates that they're still hoping to work up to in that rotation. The Blade is still 50% away. This Graviton Surge also not quite there yet. But this is going to give a bit of an advantage to FluffyDreamland to capture this next flashpoint. When you've got the Terra Surge, the Blizzard, perfect on this point when we look at Ducks.
One dink there by Chime. Sensika recoiling a little bit. But now they can just do the classic walk across the bridge, bubble the Cassidy, hopefully get that high noon space. Point unlocks in a couple of seconds. So both sound barriers available from either team as well. Chime is being so annoying though. Playing on this side, just not only just the spam, but the threat of the wall might be enough. Speaking of which, wall comes up. Looks like Seeker's going to get out of there. Is it going to get frozen? No, not quite. Takes a chunk out of Haven, but here comes the sound barrier. They're going to need it too. This Terror Surge lands straight on top of Seeker. A later beat coming through from FluffyDreamland, but Seeker's still doing work on this high ground. Finds a nice kill onto Haven. It's only Proto available now for those heals on the heights. And there you go, Seeker. Okay, 4K for the Cass.
Whew. All right, Seeker very much warmed up and ready to go now. That is going to be a quick retake from Nightmare, and that's also going to be a Dragon Point earned from Zera. And already switches coming across. Astro giving up the Orisa, going to go over to the Ramattra, which is something that we have seen before from this team, and maybe a bit easier to deal with this Zarya. Could punch past some of those bubbles and maybe make it a little bit easier to not charge them up either.
Yeah, we'll see. Oh. Okay, that was Grapes and Haven getting caught out on the side. Looked like they wanted to find an off angle. They're going to chase as well, yeah. I mean, you might as well. Vortex going to stop them, but no, they're going to just speed on forward. They can find some more picks here. They're going to turn this to the last fight. Good discipline, though, from Nightmare. They're backing up, and they've overstayed their welcome as the spawners come in.
They don't want to overextend, knowing that Proto does have that amplification matrix. If you are caught out there, then it's going to feel really bad to see that window in front of you and no way to speed yourself out of something like that straight away. Instead, they can catch it with this
Good grab, get both supports as well. Blade of for Zera. I don't think they're going to need it, though. Yeah, absolutely not. Seeker's dead, and they can't even touch the point. Good grab from Clear. Just looking through that small window. It's kind of an inevitability, it felt like. Proto and Graves like, okay, we have to follow our tank. It's like, oh, we gotta go. But Clear's just looking at them. You know, they've got grab. And no beat,
grab,
right?
They used it. That's going to be another one. And yeah, exactly. No beat. And the immortality field, too, just not really enough time to actually buy for some type of peel when you know you have to go touch the flashpoint. So that's going to be Nightmare taking the flashpoint as well as we head over to Bond Flats. Zarya also not too many ultimates that I feel like you're going to end up pairing with that Graviton Surge to actually find the value. You can leave this Dragon Blade alone, too. Graves has been so behind on being able to get these sound barriers. Zera might have a field day with this one.
Speedy High Noon gets Vortex briefly. There's a good wall. Can anybody kill it? Seeker's looking for someone to shoot it. Oh, Seeker with a nice headshot onto time. Rolls away as well. That Blizzard getting no value from FluffyDreamland. Although saying that, maybe that didn't result in them getting the point, but it's definitely helped with the window. Annihilation to make sure this is a clean fight, but that lasted the minimum duration there after the kill onto Seeker came through. Now Zera's got the blade. So many limited resources now available to FluffyDreamland. Good slash dash onto the point. And Nightmare don't let FluffyDreamland get anywhere near that 50% mark. They've only got 28 on their cap.
Well, Graves is going to have the sound barrier for this next fight, so one way that you can aggressively approach this, but it's not even going to be an advantage for them knowing that Admiral can actually match that. And in a lot of cases, Nightmare hasn't even needed ultimates in order to secure these fights in the neutral. Seeker's over to the Soldier and hoping to have more high impact, giving up the Cassidy. Haven is now switched also, so Cassidy for Haven and Soldier in here for Seeker.
Yeah, a little bit more survivability too with that slide, especially against the walls. There's the beat. Beat comes through as well from Admiral, but only hits 3. Seeker and CJ are already dead. I mean, this fight is over.
Well, maybe it is just the barrier advantage. I take it back. Yeah, hey, that was a great fight there for FluffyDreamland to make a very economical one at that. Having Haven switch over to this Cassidy is going to be a little bit more consistent damage applied, and you're already going to see that High Noon getting worked up to. Great thing to be able to throw at this next fight, knowing that Nightmare, they've got to already use the wall too.
Going to try and slow people down with the Vortex as well. Look who's really far up. It is Clear. Uses a bubble on themselves. Seeker taking the brunt of that damage. Nice little nade. Lands on 2, but the grab comes in. Does it connect? That is the question. Looks like it did. But the wall was perfectly placed there by Chime to stop them following up. But a flank angle from Seeker. This window is dirty. Quick team wipe. Nightmare going to put themselves on the point. That should be the capture as well. Grape spawning last, which means Nightmare not going to give FluffyDreamland an opportunity to contest again.
It's a good heads-up play there, too, to know that they could take the fight outside of the point and then go back and capture the flashpoint later. It's going to be another flashpoint going over to the refinery now, and there are just a couple of DPS ultimates being worked up to on the Nightmare side. Blizzard and Annihilation, though, for FluffyDreamland, so it's going to be a pretty even fight across the board, it feels like.
A little mortars being thrown in. Those mortars do a lot of damage now.
So
all right,
much.
10 seconds to go into the point unlocks. We see Haven now trying to take an off angle. Zera paying attention to them. Dashing away though, and here comes the High Noon. It's on the staircase. Blizzard thrown on top. Seeker doing a lot of damage, rolling away straight out of LOS of Snowball. So doesn't get frozen up. Another AoE being deployed here by Astro. Those bubbles so vulnerable. The Zarya normally wanting to deploy a lot of them on their teammates, but only had one for themselves. Zera's still trying to turn this fight. They actually pop the blade and the beat. Zera's already found Prota. I know FluffyDreamland have no ultimates for this. Graves had the sound barrier, just held onto it. Should be a pretty easy kill onto Astro. Still needing a little bit more time, but Nightmare doesn't go down without a fight as April and Zera turn it.
That was a super expensive fight, though. That was everything. They're not going to have anything outside of potentially the amplification matrix coming up to this next one. And so the sound barrier should be really beneficial for FluffyDreamland to come back into this. That should tie it up then and go to a flashpoint number 5. But that's also if they get the opportunity to move into the point, which Secret and Zero have had some things to say about.
Beat lands, hits 4 there for Graves. And yeah, Clear just bullied in the front line. Ideally, you want to hold at least a little bit far up as the Zarya, but a little bit too close to the sun. Flip comes in. They're waiting for this block to come down. I mean, Aber and Zero still got kills, and Secret is full HP right now. Just have to kind of deal with this Lucio, who's being so annoying, just booping him away, just messing up the aim. Finally, maybe laying Grapes to rest. Receives a bubble, too, coming in from Clear. FluffyDreamland still control this point, but it is a scrappy fight.
And it's not looking very comfortable for them to actually control it. In fact, they don't feel confident enough. They're actually going to back away. Look at Chime is still coming back from spawn. That is why they want to make sure that Chime actually has the potential to build up to this Blizzard and throw it into this fight. Otherwise, that's going to be the map loss here for FluffyDreamland.
High Noon, really good damage from afar here using this window. Even the Lucio making good use of it. Seeker does not want to peek that. They're close to this Graviton Surge. You've got double support ultimates that do Nightmare. Oh, Astro got deleted. That window doing as much work as humanly possible. Good grab as well, sticking it to the side. Sound barrier's going to come in, and that'll be that. Nightmare on match point now as they take New Junk City.
New Junk City looked a little bit closer as well in terms of that, but the scoreline suggests otherwise. Nightmare has been doing a great job taking a page out of Toronto Defiance book even to bring out that Zarya. That's been so fun to actually
watch. The Zarya, pop the bubble on the Genji goes in. There's so many good ways to use those bubbles, even on Seeker too, if they're in danger, or pop the High Noon, put the bubble on them. Really nice stuff so far from Nightmare. Going to a map number 3. It's 3 Overwatch today in NA. A little bit, I was expecting a little bit more maybe, but the competition is only going to ramp up from here. FluffyDreamland, despite even this map, still competitive with Nightmare right now.
Yes, absolutely. I think it's just been these micro decisions that have come through that have really kept things so competitive. I look at just how Astro, even on the Orisa, was able to work so well with Chime. Haven also making the decisions to switch off of the Ashe to go to the Cassidy, was able to provide a lot more consistent damage. There's so many bright spots here for FluffyDreamland. I think maybe just a little bit struggling on maybe keeping things together and allowing Nightmare to split them up for a couple of these like 1v1s or 1v2s.
Yeah, it was
some of these fights look like they should have gone in Fluffy's favor.
I mean, one fight that kind of stuck out to me was when Zera and Admiral, they end up popping beat, they pop blades, kind of turn the fight around. Really big plays coming through. And just like individual hero plays too. If you're not making those plays, like, you're not giving yourself a chance. You're not giving yourself the full opportunity to turn these kind of fights. Here's that fight very specifically. There you go. Point kind of proven. Yeah, it was a very scrappy on that one specifically. But Nightmare, they want to get their chance to maybe face Toronto Defiant again, maybe give them more of a run for their money than they did earlier on. Again, it's Fluffy's chance to pick. I think regardless of where you go at this point, Rose, like go to a dive map, go to a rush map or whatever, a poke map, whatever. I don't think there's going to be a point where a Nightmare are thrown off in any way. You've kind of spoken about it.
I don't think so
when we went into that one. You can sub in Claire for these rush if you want to play Malga. Infected has got so many heroes in his hero pool. It's going to be tough to really throw them off their game. I would love to see a little bit more circuits, so we see a little bit more the Bastion.
Widow mode?
And the Widow.
Oh, I thought you were talking about
Widowmaker. I would love to see Widow too.
You've really been on the Widowmaker and the Bastion recently, so I was like, oh yeah.
Seeker's Bastion look pretty cool on the circuit. It's just a little bit different look. But yeah, it's FluffyDreamland's choice.
Oh, maybe we do see the circuit, though. I could see that. I could see Paraíso. I think Paraíso's been sort of a favorite of theirs, particularly so they can actually run the Winston. And so it's actually not going to be either of those. It's going to be Runasapi. Very interesting to see these teams actually pick the push and the flashpoint first before we see
that is a bit of a weird one. Yeah, I didn't realize that until now. Normally, we do see at least a hybrid or
the opposite of that.
Strange.
Yeah.
Infected back in for Nightmare. So Clear just coming in for the New Junk City for the Malgas. and then Infected back in, so that means it's probably going to be a little bit more dive, I'd imagine.
Maybe a bit more dive. Maybe we switch things up a little bit if we are feeling a little funky. I feel like when it's come down to Runasapi, though, I feel like it is just about what you are comfortable with. More often than not, we do see teams try to run the Winston dive, but I think a lot of other things can work, and that's what makes this push map so exciting.
Yeah, we're going to load in just a moment. I'll have a better love story than Twilight, I think, there, with Seeker also having the Hog Road profile picture, and with PG holding the same one. A true love story, an Overwatch one. That'll be in the new Overwatch, I'd imagine.
So
hopefully they bring out that game again. It'll just be PG and Seeker.
Oh my god.
There you go. Yeah, it's 2-0 in the series so far. Nightmare they're looking real good. It's, like I said, a little bit warmed up against Toronto Defiant. The latest stages of this bracket are also going to be, it's going to be real tough. Both EMEA and NA, to be fair, but the likes of NRG Shock, they're not going to go down without a fight. It's going to be a good couple of days we've got ahead of us, but for the moment we're jumping onto Runasapi and Nightmare. Obviously kind of running the Winston. Do you think Astro maybe goes back to the Orisa here?
I think you could do that. I think that's what Runasapi is really fun for a lot of teams, is I think there's a lot more possibilities when it comes down to the team comps that you run. Coliseo, I feel like every time we've looked at that map has always just been, okay, well, we have to run a hit scan. We have to probably run like the Sigma. A lot of teams opening things up a little bit, knowing that you do have the glass removed on that map. But yeah, I could see the Orisa coming through from Astro. Feels like that's been the most confident hero for them in the face of Nightmare.
Well, let's have a little look. Orisa would, yeah, I'm in a kind of a, you know, Orisa's good, or is it not good? Is the Ram better with the rush? It's tough to say. Asher obviously playing Orisa a fair amount over the last couple of weeks. Looks like maybe Nightmare want to match the Orisa too. Not long ago did we have like a perma Orisa meta, so it's nice to see it dropped in every now and then. A lot of variety on tank, or not even just on tank picks, to be fair, just across the board.
DPS picks too. Yeah, it's been wild how open the meta has been, and I think this is where we've seen a lot of teams like, oh, Reaper, Sombra. It's so nice to think that both of those heroes can actually have a place in Overwatch right now. It's sadly going to be pretty much a mirror on both sides for this particular map, but we're still seeing the Orisa nonetheless from either side. Chime, though, on the Tracer and Zera on the Pharah, once again differentiating the two teams.
Yeah, Zera's Pharah has been super impressive throughout the group stage as well. I really like this outside position. You do get a large viewing angle of the bot. Not so much if you're FluffyDreamland, you're kind of cowering in this small little room here. And Nightmare know it, so they try and dive on in. They do separate Chime from the rest of the team, but they got a recall to save them. All right, the bot slowly moving in favor now of FluffyDreamland, but you're fighting from low to high here as Seeker has an amazing angle on the back line. He can just force Ash up the high ground, which he's done so successfully. Haven's going to have a tough job, although the first to fall, in fact, is actually going to be Zera on the Pharah. Goes down to Chime, and melee killable things too. Oh, good shot by Seeker, though. Ooh. All right. Despite that kill, might just be Nightmare taking over.
Zera has switched. Zera is now going to go over to the Tracer, so it's going to be a full 5v5 mirror on both teams. And yeah, I think playing enough of a decoy that you do allow the rest of Nightmare to win out the rest of that battle. Going to be the amplification matrix here from CJ. Going to be matched on Proto, but you look at Seeker already having the Bob, and that is just crazy.
Just ridiculous amounts of damage. Haven not too far off though as well, to be fair. Both Baps healing a lot in that fight. Also got ult, same with the Lucios.
Infected's gonna have Terror Surge.
Yeah, a whole host of ultimates. Both windows used, Spear Spin, beautiful lap positions from both teams. Chime and Zera almost getting one clicks on each other. Terror Surge thrown in by Infected. But only so long you can survive behind that window. Grapes is with the cleanup. All right, FluffyDreamland managed to sustain even through that Terror Surge as Nightmare lose control of the bot.
Infected tried to use that with like 10% of his HP left. Maybe not the best of times to actually use that ultimate, but if it works, everyone else was so low, you end up swinging the fight pretty massively in your favor. It's gonna be FluffyDreamland though up to the plate as Astro looks to get ready to use that Terror Surge themselves. Alongside these sound barriers, though, I think this could be a very highly sustained fight.
Small lead there from FluffyDreamland. Bob comes in. Oh, Astro was trying to spear it away. Yep. Bob, non-factor in this fight now. Speaking of which, there's another Bob. Probably more of a factor now. Look at that position. Yeah, both Bobs shooting at each other, but it's actually Infected that has to get out of there. And with no Terror Surge, it's going to be tough to step up to Astro. Oh, good shots.
That's going to be Admiral down, which means that the sound barrier is going to be delayed coming back into this fight. If FluffyDreamland want to, they could push the objective. But now Admirals respawn. They're going to lose that just a little bit. They hope to get the meterage and the point instead.
Oh, and there it is, yeah.
They're just going to get checkpoint.
They're going to get checkpoint. Admiral going down pretty early in that fight. Cost them dearly. Infected can't even stand around this corner. They use the window pretty aggressively. Yeah, press the issue. Sound barrier comes in from Nightmare to save Infected. A quick back off for Astro. Zeria being a little pesky fly in the wall right now. It's got all CDs, so recall to safety is available, but it's still going to get checked by Chime. Force the recall. Pulse bomb in hands. Still ends up going down to Proto. These kills are good from Seeker, but the bot progress and the checkpoint too so early on from FluffyDreamland. You're feeling confident.
Still a lot of map left to play, though. That's going to be just us passing the 6-minute mark. So a lot of things to work with still as the thought back in Nightmare's control. You look at the Pulse Bomb. Infected now going to be the one that has the Terror Surge. Astro, if I'm not mistaken, Astro's not been able to use it yet.
Holding on to it. More of the threat there. Oh, sound barrier hits the floor, and so does Seeker's lifeless corpse. Infected dead. This is a good push. It's unfortunate Grapes used a sound barrier there, but you're kind of vibing with that. The sound barrier and the kill onto Seeker came through at pretty much the same time. You're going to get maybe even 80+ meters. You still got the Terror Surge. Infected has built up another one in that time.
It's been really difficult to use it, because I think when you're using the Terror Surge, you also make yourself a bit more vulnerable. Knowing that both of these Ashes have had pretty deadly accuracy, you kind of don't want to sit there with your giant watermelon size head just to get dunked on. We are going to see Proto switch it up, though. It's not going to be the Baptiste.
Oh, Astro DCs.
Oh, looks like Astro's DC'd
before he can use the ult. No, Astro.
Oh, no.
Unfortunate timing on the DC.
It's the 3-1. It's the 3-1 that everybody wants. Extended series just a little bit more. But Astro is back in the server, has lost all of that ultimate charge. But Haven's going to make sure that Astro's back for the neutral.
Yeah, good kill from Haven. That's the second time in a row Haven's found a nice little pick. Although they both end up going to use the Bobs. They're going somewhere. Chime kills Seeker. Another kill coming through for FluffyDreamland. It's all falling apart right now for Nightmare.
Thanks, Bob.
Has Astro crashed again? No, it's Admiral.
No, it's not. It's
I need to run back to the camera now. We're so back. Me doing a lot of cardio today. Me running from here to there. Got a nice little chair over there I was chilling on. Admiral crashed this time. Unfortunate.
This map is cursed. I don't know what to tell you. It's like...
I don't know. Crash him. Yeah, I don't know. That's very weird. That's very strange. Normally if it's one player, you're like, okay, you can just blame their PC, but if it's two people, it's kind of annoying. Not entirely sure, obviously, what's going on. Control, delete, quick restart, go in again, load up. But yeah, we'll be back on Runasapi in just a moment. Oh, we're so back. Wait a second.
We're so back. We're so back.
That was quick. You know Admiral got the SSD.
All right, back in action. It is going to be full loss of that ultimate charge also. But I think they have bigger problems than that. And I think the problem is the fact that FluffyDreamland does have the lead for the push spot right now, but they are sitting on 0 ultimates outside of Chime potentially getting this pulse bomb. So a bit of hope here for Nightmare to come back into this, especially knowing that Infected still has his Terror Surge.
Rape's pretty low. And if you do crash again, I'm bringing the chair. I'm going to sit down. All right, Terror Surge for Infected. Obviously, Astro had to build up to a new one after that DC. High ground window, Astro in trouble. But no, it turns out Infected was the one that needed desperate help. Secret Ammo still find kills though. Oh, what a stick from Chime! Oh my goodness! Unfortunately, the lamp was there. That would have been a nice little two-piece, but it still drops Seeker to the floor. Wow, Chime. 97 meters and then some. No mini for you. It has been stolen. All right, Astro dead. You take that though, FluffyDreamland, 97 meters to 32. Good lead so far.
Very good lead, but still 3 minutes left of the map, and it's going to be another pretty big ultimate bank here for Nightmare. Still the Terror Surge. Yeah, these Orissas, they have just been holding onto these for like the next match or something, because Infected is yet to let this loose. Astro's going to finally have one back in his pocket, although he wasn't using it either. So we'll have to wait and see if it actually comes to fruition.
Terror Surge. There's one. Sound barrier lands. Infected receives the lamp. So low though. Should be a free kill onto the Orisa. Spear's been used. Infected. Oh, receives the spear. Hey, that hotfix coming in a clutch, or the patch even coming in clutch. For Astro there. I think it connected another one too. Good Suzu too, just to make sure nice and healthy for this next engagement. Spear, nice on the Ash. 2 minutes to go. FluffyDreamland in firm control.
Yeah, Seeker got completely pushed out of position there, and so that's going to be... Oh, well, I guess Haven did too.
Skewered.
Apparently.
Served up with a pita bread. All right.
Oh, you can see Chime, though, looking for the flank over there. Does have access to the pulse bomb now, didn't before. But the flank damage enough to get that online. Once again, going back over to the midway point as we are now entering into 1 minute and 40 seconds left for Nightmare to try to make up some of this differential. 60 meters in between the two teams as we look at getting some of these ultimates down. Proto with the Kitsune Rush feels like a great way to open this up, though, for
Yeah, this is the definitive fight here, realistically. They got to find something. Oh, Pulsar from Chime lands on the ground. Rush on the point. Bobs, sound barriers, everything being thrown in, and Astro overextending. That whole time, Zero was just standing next to that window, looking at Astro through it. That amplified damage. Just turning the fight in Nightmare's favor. Little pulse bomb in the hand of Zero too. The checkpoint is going to be Nightmare's. As FluffyDreamland try and get this regroup with no ults in the bank, but Nightmare, same could be said. They've got the pulse, but with 60 seconds to go, this next fight is going to be a little bit more honest Overwatch.
Yeah, but if Zera gets a big pick with the pulse, that could really just completely flip things here for Nightmare. Put it up for them to try to pick this up. Oh, Chavik also gets very low. So maybe even that was potentially the target there, as Zera's hunting for something. I'm actually taking a little bit of damage there.
Yeah, mid. Whoa, you see that bike fly? Oh, well, that went so far. All right, Zera has to hit the recall pretty early there. Didn't quite find a target to land that pulse bomb in, but can take the lift upwards. Sees the Ash. Oh, right on the floor. Even booped in. Does a little bit of damage to Grapes, I think, as Zera just manages to clean up the kill regardless of that pulse hitting or not. That Terror Surge is absolutely massive from Infected, though. 2 kills, and maybe some more. And with only 7 seconds to go, the bot is in control of Nightmare, but they still need to climb that mountain. 42 meters are required to take the lead.
All right, Infected thought about switching over to the Wrecking Ball in order to get back faster. Thought better of it, is going to come back on the Orisa. But you can see that the taxi is required to get Infected out of spawn before FluffyDreamland are able to make it there as a full team of 5. It's going to be Chime now up to the plate with this Pulse Bomb. See if he can be the difference between this one. But CJ has his Amplification Matrix to push back FluffyDreamland.
Sarah's got a lot of cover behind this taxi as well. Does receive the Dynamite, but this low window from CJ is going to be deadly. Got to keep healing. Infected though, Infected goes down, it's going to be over. And now Chime has the Pulse Bomb.
Oh, great to the sound barrier though. That's huge here for
Double support, in fact, as well, Rose.
Have to race to get something.
Rose is going to have it too. There's the rush. Beacon coming at any moment. Infected going super low. Lamb comes in. Chime with the Pulse Bomb still in hand. Might not even need to use it. Grapes does end up falling with the sound barrier. It's disastrous, but they don't touch. And FluffyDreamland, they're going to continue the series. With Nightmare not being able to clutch it out at the very end. A very close last-ditch effort. It was just an overwhelming amount of ults. Well, I mean, Grapes didn't even the sound barrier, apparently, but I mean, going down there is, yeah, it's not great.
I mean, it did feel like it was going to be FluffyDreamland's to lose, especially after they had built up such a lead in the first couple of minutes of the game. So it was a couple of unfortunate disconnects there, but at the end of the day, I think Fluffy played that so well. They knew how to operate with this Orisa team, and despite the fact that Infected was able to play the Orisa as well, I feel like this is just maybe a mirror they might not.
Yeah, more disconnects, more winning, maybe? I don't know. It was 2 disconnects for FluffyDreamland, 1 for Nightmare. So let's jump over to the desk. They can, well, break that down and send us into a map number 4.
You sounded really not excited about that. Thanks, Jack. Yeah, we will be breaking it down, whether you want it or not. I do think there's actually a lot to unpack here. Nightmare, we held them as the clear favorite heading into this. I think most people would have expected it to be a dominant series from their side, but I actually feel like FluffyDreamland, they're holding their own and then some, and they're bringing their own style to the server as well. I do like what we're seeing from the Orisa, from the team on that Orisa. Even though Nightmare does have the upper hand, it's still a good look for FluffyDreamland.
I think absolutely. It forced Nightmare to take the mirror, and they were just more comfortable on it. Astro came in the interview yesterday and was talking about the comfort, the confidence in the Orisa, and now we see why they can really execute on this style. They look solid. I do think Nightmare now has a clear edge in the series. Right? They got 2 more map picks, so good odds that they're going to be able to take this maybe away from the Orisa, bring it back into their comfort zone. This will be an interesting opportunity, too, to see what Nightmare's preference is. They play a ton of different styles. Where do they choose to take us when they have control of the series?
Yeah, and also you get to pick Hybrid and Escort, which are 2 really good maps if you have a specific flavor that perhaps you want to go to. So, especially because that, yes, we've had some challenges with Fluffy Nightmare when they actually play Fluffy Nightmare. Fluffy Nightmare.
It's Dreams versus Nightmares here in the Overwatch Champions Series.
When they play the Orisa composition, like they're so good at that. So obviously you want to avoid that if all possible. And now I really do feel like if you select Hybrid or Escort, you really do have the chance to stay away from that. When you have a tank like Infected, for example, who is so versatile and can play so many different heroes, right? Maybe you want to take it to a Dorado, for example. Maybe you want to emphasize the hit scan duel and, put Seeker in a position to win. He's been fragging out so far. So, yes, truly the back's against the wall. But, again, it needs mentioning that the disconnects just suck. It's an unfortunate, no one's fault. It just happens, and that really put a spanner on things. I think Astro had a couple of ones that were really untimely.
Yeah.
That just really sucks. You have to walk all the way back from spawn. You lose your ultimate. It's really unfortunate, but it is what it is.
Yeah, and they're not mentally flustered by it, right? They're staying focused, they're staying in the game, they still win the map, right, despite that. And so I think FluffyDreamland have really shown that they're a team that has to be respected. With as good as Nightmare has looked against most of their opponents, FluffyDreamland are fighting back well and making this series interesting. I think it is going to mean Nightmare needs to bring out their best styles, their best comps, put FluffyDreamland on the back foot. It's going to be Circuit. I was thinking about this because Sigma is another strong answer to the Orisa. I would be very surprised to see the Orisa come out, since probably is going to be a Sigma mirror on Circuit.
Yeah.
And this also is another way to put Seeker in the driver's seat on the hit scan, where the Widow just has so much impact on Circuit Royale.
Well, let's see if Nightmare can finish it out here, or if FluffyDreamland just started their comeback. Let's find out on this next map. Jack Necker, please take it away.
Thank you very much, Zoe. And yes, this is the map that I wanted to go to. A little bit of Circuit Royale. You know what Nightmare are going to pick. Come on now. The Bastion on the offense. Of course it's going to be.
So true. We're so back. Wait, we'll get back to that when we get there to actually these attacking doors opening. But at least for FluffyDreamland, they are going to be putting the Orisa on the bench for now. It is going to be Astro coming out of the gates with the Ramatra. So Ramatra, May, Haven on the Hanzo. Not opting for the Widowmaker just yet.
Yeah, no Widow. Just going to counter Widow with Haven on the Hanzo. They I would imagine they expect this after seeing the amount of Bastion Nightmare's been playing. There's no way they don't expect Seeker rolling out. Sends a Sonic in, there it is. Seeker on the Bastion, Zera on May. Brawl versus a little bit of poke coming through.
So risky to have to play into this Bastion, though. If you're FluffyDreamland, you want to make sure that those May walls are on cooldown so you can use them to block a bunch of this damage. But it's a really quick rotation. Early deployment of that Immortality field, though, as Infected gets caught out.
Yeah, nice kill onto Infected. Noticing that 2 people Oh, double headshot by Chime. Noticing that two people from Nightmare were rotating to high ground. An easy decision was made from FluffyDreamland.
It's going to be infected, though, on the Ramatra. Coming back out of spawn to die again.
Yeah, just
This has been so
almost
aggressive.
insta-killed there. Yeah, you just got to kill these staggers. I mean, look, you've burned a minute off the clock. The payload is barely moved. You're pretty happy with that if you're FluffyDreamland. And you've almost got Blizzard as well. The amount of damage that Chime's done.
Chime has had so many nasty icicle shots already, so the Blizzard makes a lot of sense to me. But the first ultimates earned in this map, sure. I'm here for whatever FluffyDreamland is serving at the moment. But Nightmare finally getting out of the spawn doors. They get a chance to actually set this Bastion up a little bit closer. We're going to play around this boutique. As FluffyDreamland are also going to try to get this Hanzo set up on that left side.
Oh, good wall. Chime might be in trouble. Pops the Blizzard and the block. Infected, frozen, but that lamp is just godly from CJ. Doesn't quite help Infected long enough, though. There's going to be a retaliation from Nightmare as they end up using their window. Little to no avail. They've just spamming these arrows down this small corridor.
FluffyDreamland have had so much confidence in this map so far, despite the fact that they know that Nightmare are going to be playing the Bastion. Chime has been popping off on this Mei. Just use the Blizzard is already 20-30% to another one. And the rest of FluffyDreamland have their ultimates up as well. They're being very decisive with their decision making, which is exactly what you want to see out of this team. Maybe inspired a little bit with confidence, knowing that they just took a map off of Nightmare, one of the top teams in North America. So keep it up. They're going to be very patient here, back up, knowing that there is going to be an onslaught of ultimates coming out from Nightmare too.
Waiting, that last one, always waiting with it. Does end up connecting, actually. A lot of damage, actually, on the back line. Soundbayer comes through. And the Annihilation as well. It's going to be a tough fight here for Nightmare. Gonna have to wait for Seeker to kind of rotate his cooldowns. With that turret form, just not getting much at all done. You're gonna have to find something big with CJ's window. Like, what they found success with before was using the window, then the Bastion nade to pick someone off, but it's just been a ridiculously hard fight so far. FluffyDreamland are coming up with every single answer to this Nightmare comp.
There's been no room for those nades to actually make it through. You've got the Mei wall, the Ramatra shield. Such great positioning here from FluffyDreamland as well.
There we
using
go.
all of that natural cover.
Oh, that
There's
connected
one.
as well. A little stick. All right, Seeker.
mind, there's two.
Showing off now. There we go. Okay, that's exactly what I was talking about. Just got to pop the window down, and Seeker gets a nice kill, and then a frag with the nade. Good stuff. 3 minutes there for the time bank.
Yeah, like that just took so long. Like that almost was a first point hold. As the FluffyDreamland can't be fazed by the fact that Nightmare finally got that payload over the line. They had to come back in with the Blizzard again. Not a whole lot else to add on to that, but the Blizzard still gives you a lot of hope just to be able to get this.
All that wall going down as well might actually be a good sign for them to go in, because they can't block off this Bastion from getting frozen. Speaking of which, there it is, lamp deploy, but yeah, there's no way. As soon as that wall come up, you're like thinking it's the Mei. It's very easy to kind of wall off the snowball or just like help the rest of the team kind of survive that engagement, but Chime knew the time to go. Timed that one perfectly.
Also sitting there to spam some icicles into spawn.
You can sit on that little ledge.
Actually getting away with some damage
Yeah.
too. A headshot.
Yeah, already
as
up to
well.
42%.
Oh my gosh, yeah, Seeker's gonna have to just throw another Blizzard at them. I guess why don't you? But another amplification matrix here from CJ plus the Bastion ultimate.
Bastion,
Gonna go ahead and pop that instantly.
just aiming for the flankers right now as the Annihilation just sent to the back line. Grapes, Prota dead. Annihilation claimed 2 lives there. And the Bastion trade, you'll take that if you're infected. If you can kill the backline, you know it's pretty easy from there on out. And Astro not wanting to commit anything. They don't want to use Dragons. They don't want to use that Annihilation of their own. They know they got another chance, especially with how quickly Grapes went down. They can taxi everybody back.
Taxiing back with a sound barrier too, and with just how much time they've whittled off the clock, if they're able to get a stall here, that is already going to be the final fight coming up very shortly here for the second point. So I love the Dragon Strike to be able to split everybody up into the Annihilation.
That's a lot of damage. Sound Barrier is going to come through to amplify their health, and even that Blizzard. Sound Barrier to keep FluffyDreamland competitive in this one. Blizzard does end up landing on the floor, but they killed Chime before they can get anybody frozen up. But here comes the Annihilation, split the team entirely. Nightmare now losing Admiral and now have to try and save Zera in the backline. Might not need too much saving though. Pops the block, survives, and Seeker comes up with a kill to Grapes. As the fight breaks down, it is all Nightmare. And with 30 seconds to do it in, they're going to cap second point.
Slow and steady can win the race sometimes. Nightmare playing very methodically, even though we ended up seeing FluffyDreamland use their ultimates a little bit later. It was eventually just going to be Nightmare that wins out the war. Seeker, especially on the Bastion, has just been so standout. There's no wonder why Nightmare wanted to put a lot of their eggs into the Bastion basket for Circuit Royale. You know, the Death talking a lot about setting up Seeker for success. Maybe it was like the Widowmaker, like something like the Ash we were expecting to see, but I guess Bastion works as a hit scan too.
All these arrows are going to hurt through the window, but the Annihilation is going to shatter it as Haven and Proto end up going down. That was a really good angle for Haven to be at as well, just firing through, and you saw a couple of shots landing on Seeker. Seeker did die, but Infected coming up big again. Infected's Annihilations, the proficiency and just the amount of value and how many kills that they're actually getting. It's a little ridiculous. He's really popping off at the moment.
Really trusting in the backline too to make sure that he's going to be topped up and able to go off with these Annihilations.
Oh, good spot onto Seeker. Seeker survives though. Receives the lamp. Good Sonic arrow. Spots Seeker trying to use that ult. Here comes the nade. Straight to the back line. No kills, but still manages to tag Grapes with the help of CJ. And now with the Blizzard and only 30 seconds to go, Dreamland don't have too many hopes and dreams left. Not against that Blizzard, that's for sure. And that is a team kill. Maybe Grapes touches? No. 26 seconds in the bank for Nightmare.
Slow and steady. Just slow and steady. Every single team fight win can accumulate into the map finish, and so they do that. 3 points now under their belt as we switch sides. FluffyDreamland were off to such a great start though, Jaws, especially on that first point. They were really taking Nightmare down to the brink, knowing they only had like 30 seconds left to capture that point.
They're really straining them. And it just come down to the windows, and then Infected stepping up with the Annihilations too. All right, let's see what they got on their defense then. It's going to be the same comp, I'd imagine. I'm not sure they're going to change up now, unless they really want to throw a left hook at FluffyDreamland. But no, it's going to be the same. Well, Infected starting on the Ram this time. Started on the Sigma before.
Yeah, I think it makes more sense to just go ahead and stay on the Ramatra now. Like Infected, as you were saying, putting up such big numbers on the Annihilations. Even just in the Nemesis form, I think one of Infected's strong suits on tank in general has just always been knowing like when to push the pressure with the cooldowns that he has. And so being able to cycle through those, especially in a Ramatra mirror, has been very, very impressive. Astro already looking at the opportunity to run back the Ramatra, and everything else pretty similar here, I think, when it comes down to what the rest of the team wants to run. Except we see the Widow and the Pharah to start with just a little bit of that like explosive spam damage just to get out of the door.
All right, Haven back to Hanzo. It's good at dealing with the Bastion. Pop turret form and you can send a Storm Arrow their way. Zera is on a devious little angle. Yeah, you are very dead. Absolutely no way you're getting help from there. Good kill as well to Proto from downtown. Okay, Zera. You get Chime? Maybe? Chime's weak. Chime's weak. Grape's weak too. Go on, Zera, show us what you got. Instantly deletes the wall. Nice stuff. All right, okay. Good lamp too. Making sure Zera doesn't instantly die. I really like this off angle from Zera. It's going to take quite the number of forces here from FluffyDreamland to clear the map.
You can't just feel safe sending Chime back there. You're pushing yourself out in the open if you want to try to take the rotation up to the high ground, or Haven either. Like, you're just getting a great collapse if you enter into that building.
Nemesis form pops. Seeker just firing Astro, although with Nemesis form and crossing your arms, you do about 0 damage when you're shooting into them. Forcing the block, Chimes almost eliminating themselves. Waiting for the Mei slowly but surely. Surely Chimes doesn't get this kill. Receives a lamp too, there it is. But all the Mei, oh my god, how does he survive? How does he survive?
Unbelievable.
How?
Oh, jeez.
How is that possible?
It's just the team at this point is turning your nightmares into realities, I suppose, in some way. They're gonna have the annihilation from Infected, and this is just like a consistent close hold. That's 2 minutes left in the.
Look at them all go. Look at FluffyDreamland. They're all just running at Zera right now.
Oh,
Look, they've all taken the high ground.
Got left
Yeah, and Proto left behind. Oh, this is going from bad to worse.
That's not looking good.
Oh,
this is not looking
Proto,
good.
unfortunately, not getting the memo. Maybe got walled off as well. They are very mad at Zera. Very mad.
I would be too. I mean, Zera has just been absolutely like popping off. Not even just on this map, but even playing.
They're going again.
Lara. Yeah, you could definitely
Blizzard.
Translate that over to the Rock.
They're doing the same thing, Rose. Oh, you want to try and kill our Mei? Oh, you've killed him, but you're going to suffer the consequences. Infected is pretty low. Okay, well. So only the Ram. They did save ultimates. Same with FluffyDreamland. They ended up using the barrage. But Nightmare still in a good position with only a minute to go. They burnt 3 whole minutes defending that first point. Defending the spawn.
It's gonna take them a bit, though.
Not even defending the first point.
Yeah. That late pick, though, onto Infected is going to buy FluffyDreamland a little bit of breathing room. Because you can see that Admiral had to wait for Infected to respawn and actually end up taxiing them back. So they're going to try to delay this card a little bit with this. With the Mortar Strike.
Vortex into Mortar Strike. Rest in pieces. That was cruel. I'm pretty sure that's against the Geneva Convention. Pretty sure.
Oh, this is on this day, all crime is legal.
We are the purge now.
20 seconds left, and FluffyDreamland. It's gonna be the final fight that they have between them and potentially getting sent home already in the main event. They've got 3 ultimates to get into this one, to Nightmare's 4. In fact, it's so close to this annihilation.
Dragons is good, splits the team. Oh, Seeker got booped back up into the Dragons, so ends up going down. The Blizzard freezes Astro, and the annihilation is going to separate Nightmare. CJ, though, he's the man with the weapon. Don't need no Seeker, don't need no Bastion. It's all CJ and Infected for this one. Nightmare. They're on their home turf for Circuit Royale. They're going to close out the series in a 3-1 fashion and continue their Nightmare streak through the lower bracket.
That is just phenomenal stuff there. Really sending a statement with that full hold on that first point. Just, okay, Runasapi, maybe a little bit of a fluke. Maybe we just needed to get our heads back in the game. It's been a long day, quite honestly, for Nightmare. Yeah. It's the second match that they've had to play today. And so it can just, it's getting a little late, I guess.
We'll blame the DCs for slowing down the
late than
tempo.
never.
It's all good. Yeah, Nightmare looking great. And you can see why they picked to go into this map. They want to play this Bastion comp, which they think works very well, and it does. This was an incredibly dominant affair, and that first point was really just Zera. Zera just existing on that high ground, a little silly. And then eventually FluffyDreamland are like, well, time to send the whole squad after them. And then by the time, okay, we find the wipe, 1 minute to go. They've stacked ults, we've stacked ults, and yeah, that was about it, really, at the very end. They look really good. I think Nightmare, they're going to go a long way in the lower bracket. But the question is, how far can they go? Unfortunately, we do have to wave goodbye to FluffyDreamland, however. Let's jump over to this, though. They can talk about that series and round out the day for us.
We will indeed. Thank you both so much for covering the action. What an entertaining series this has been. I think FluffyDreamland, although that means that they are officially out of the tournament, they can leave with their head held up high.
You know, dreams were more than just dreams today, Johnny. I think that team really, you got to put some respect on the name. You know, I thought Nightmare was a much stronger team, but actually FluffyDreamland show that they can really go toe-to-toe. There were some comps, some styles, Chimes Bay, Haven on the hit scan, Astro on the Orisa, that they looked really solid on. So I think they've had a great run. I'm excited to see, what they can bring in Stage 4 for FluffyDreamland.
Yeah, I hope they stick together and compete again in Stage 4 because it was really fun following their journey. And again, pretty versatile team here. And there were some individual standouts. Like I think the Mei play was a bit of a pillar of their entire compositional adaptation, right? Because that gave them so much strength in the front line. You have a Ramakra, you can hold it down with Astro, and then Chime as well with the Mei. You can play with the Mei walls around that and isolate the enemy tank, for example, and create a matchup that really favors your way. Didn't really go their way here on Circuit Royale, but they took it to map 4. The Orisa combos were strong. Lijiang Tower looked really good, for example, on some points when they rolled out with the Orisa. And so, yeah, a bit of a shame losing out to Nightmare, but we know that Nightmare is a really strong team here, so I don't think Fluffy should at all be, ashamed of this result, and I look forward to seeing them competing more.
Yeah, they've proved themselves already, of course, through the group stages. They were in the same group as Citrus Nightmare and Shikigami and Vice, right? And the victories in that group spoke for themselves. It was a question for us how far they can take it here in the main event. But honestly, this was a good showing. I also can't wait to see more. Echo your sentiment here. But Nightmare, though. Can they run it back in the lower bracket? How far can they take it? Their potential next opponent will be either Citrus Nightmare or Timeless. How do you see their chances against either of those two teams?
I think Nightmare are a strong team. I think probably the toughest test will come when maybe, assuming NRG is knocked down to the lower bracket, that'll probably be the toughest test. But I think Timeless, you got to take them very seriously. If Citrus Nightmare upsets Timeless, that would be a surprise. But nonetheless, I think anything's possible here in the lower bracket. Seeker is going to take our player of the match. Monster performance, not on Roadhog, surprisingly, but on Hitscan, and showing a lot of versatility, whether it's the Cassidy, the Ash,
hey, even
Bastion,
Tracer on Lijiang Tower.
Exactly.
Yeah,
The very modern hitscan player. Nice Bastion. Maybe the most Bastion playtime of anyone.
Yeah.
A modern hitscan player. Put that on your CV, Seeker. Yeah, Seeker obviously lights up performance. Zero kind of robbed. In my opinion,
I mean, they both
had
were
a really
so
good day.
They both were so good.
Zero
We were
had
coin
a really
flipping.
good day.
We were between the two of them because
We
they
were
both
going back and
yeah.
forth. Seeker, I think on Runasapi, Seeker had a huge game. I mean, they both had big games. The Bastion, you kind of become the star of the show on Bastion. I will say, on the Circuit Royales when Nightmare, I think they really came alive as a team, right? We have Zero holding the off angles, CJ doing heroics to keep him alive and fighting through those contested fights. That team play, like Infected throws the Vortex in to set up the Bastion ult. I mean, those little skill team plays, that's the mark of a strong team that trusts each other, that knows how to get the most out of their abilities.
And they managed to have a performance like that after such a long day. This is the second series they're playing today. First, they had to go up against Toronto Divine some hours ago. I don't even know what time of day it is anymore, actually. But yeah, they came out on top. Great performance, a great day for them. They keep themselves alive in the lower bracket. And we actually have Seeker standing by now for a quick chat. First of all, congrats on the dub. Not only did you win, you also got yourself player of the match. So congrats on that one as well. How do you feel about your team's performance? I mean, going up against Toronto Defiant, that was a tough battle, but we all felt like you really held your own, like you pushed them.
Yeah. I don't think I played as well as I wanted to play against Toronto. Like, usually every time we play Toronto, it's kind of like close-ish. I don't know, but this time it didn't feel that close. Maybe New Jack City was close, but first map, I like fell off the map. Like,
That happens.
It wasn't that good, but...
Honestly, I mean, look, you might be just too hard on yourself right now. We were very impressed with you and the team's performance.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think, that Toronto game was more competitive maybe than it felt to you. At least maybe the first couple maps were hard, but New Junk City, I felt, okay, this team can actually hang. And as you look, I guess, ahead to the tournament, you have a long run in the lower bracket ahead of you. Who are the teams you're excited to face? Who do you think you'll be coming up next? I'm curious, looking at that next lower semi, I believe it is, between Timeless and Citrus Nightmare. Who do you expect to face next? Who do you hope to face?
I mean, I don't know. I feel like Timeless plays like the counter comp to Citrus's comp. Like, they play a lot of Sombra, and Citrus plays a lot of Ball. So it kind of depends on like who can adapt better. So I mean, I got faith in Citrus Nightmare. They're part of Nightmare, so I have to like support them. They're my sister team. So, but I also was Timeless player. But I trust the Strider Ball. Maybe he'll go and stride all over them.
It is a really good breaking ball. Look, first of all, Seeker, I just want to say congratulations for finding a team that like you're really like gelling with and finding results with. You know, we've been watching you play for so long now and like popping off and having standout performances. And I feel like this team, like you're really shining on with the opportunity now to compete for like top 2 NA. So that's really exciting for you. Now, my second kind of statement here is that your webcam is really cool, but when are you going to upgrade the mic?
I mean, the mic, that's all I need. It's wireless. I could like stand up and walk around. Like I don't need like a new mic. Like I'm not even in my chair right now and I'm talking. Like this mic is just perfect. Like I could be in the bathroom and still listening to VOD review. Like.
Yeah, all right.
I love it.
I'll be back in 3.5 minutes, guys.
Johnny hitting the hard questions here. Seeker, we're going to let you go and celebrate and, of course, prep for your next big match. It's great to see you in action. You and the squad had a really, really great day and really great performance, so thank you so much.
Thank you.